All right. So 420 to 426 is the week we're looking at.
Mhm.
But I just want to jump through a couple of these other things first. So, oh yeah. So when just another thought about when what was it? Nick seeded my lawn.
Jack.
Jack, right? Jack. Yeah. I was thinking because I left, but Ashley said someone knocked on the door. And I was like, it'd be nice if they left behind like care instructions. Like he didn't leave anything. Yeah, I don't know why he knocked on the door. No idea. Was it to get a review? Who knows? But he didn't leave anything at the door.
Mhm.
So, like, is he supposed to, or should we be leaving like seed instructions or anything? I know we email him out, but
We email those. He should be leaving the QR code for the review, and he should leave his name and say, "Hey, I seeded your lawn today."
yeah,
At the very least, right?
yeah, right, something because he bothered to knock on the door. Might as well leave something so we know what he's knocking
Yep.
about.
Let me shoot him a text now, just so we can make sure he has those.
Yep.
Hey, Jack, do you have the QR code door hangers? If not, please come grab some from the office. You should be leaving those on every door after your job and knocking as well. Please let me know. Thank you. Okay.
Do you and how are you feeling about AdWords? I same thing. I didn't. You asked me to turn it down, but then I didn't because I was going to wait to this call to discuss it. But then you texted me that you didn't want me to turn it down. You want to just leave it where it is, or
Yeah, let's leave it where it is for now. Let's give it one more week
okay.
the way it is.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll let you know how I feel next week.
All right, and then we were going to talk about rules of engagement. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the call stuff. So let's save that for the end.
Sure. Excuse me.
Another note here. This is that email about our budget
Yep.
for the year, and I'm having a hard time getting Sean. There's always something he forgot, right? So this number right here that I just remembered. So right here. So it said my the big thing here was the net profit's negative 27 versus negative 63 is the budget for this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Which was showing a difference of like 50 grand or something. So Sean hasn't been putting, so in our overhead budget here, we do have obviously depreciation and we have a budget for it, but he hasn't been putting in the actual, which means that these numbers here, that he should be, and I told him again, I've told him before, but he should be putting in the actual, what we've actually incurred for the depreciation expense, because otherwise this budget is showing the budget for the depreciation, but it's showing a $0 that we actually spent, which isn't realistic. So, anyway, so you didn't put it in there. So, but regardless, we're still in good shape. So if I take this depreciation right here, 101,000, it's 8,000 a month, and we were reviewing January through March. So essentially 8/16/24. It's like 25 grand. We got to add to our loss for the
Mm-hmm.
budget. So if we add 25, we're still at 52 versus negative 63. So we're still beating our budget for the net profit. So just something to be aware of.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll get there. We're getting there. So yeah, let's run through last week. So 420/26.
Mm-hmm.
Hours wise, so no overtime. It's good. But also kind of means these guys might be underutilized. We could get more production out of the equipment we have, right? Because these guys are each working another 5 hours or whatever we could get. We could be billing more hours with the same resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
Something to consider. Job supplies. So we got Home Depot on Orange Crew, another Home Depot, and then mulch for blue.
Mm-hmm.
For the week, we're supposed to be doing 28. We did 30, so we beat the revenue. Interestingly, the hours
Right.
were a little just shy of what we planned on this
Mm-hmm.
week. But our charge rate, which is great because this is where we struggled last year, is we beat budget again. $7 an hour, and when you're working 314 hours, that puts you ahead by quite a bit, right? A couple grand.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, yeah, our gross profit was 23 grand. And we should start paying attention to this. So this is obviously the amount of well, not obviously, but here's our gross margin that we need to. Oh, sorry, we need to hit gross margin year to date. So here's how much we've recovered so far, and this is how much we need to recover. So this is for the year how much we need to recover.
Mhm.
So we recovered 18%, but granted, January and February are not even working. So we're going to catch up faster, but we want these to be on track if we're going to be on budget, right? Essentially. And we've recovered 18% and we're 33% of the year. So this is saying we're behind, but this is going for, we didn't work in January and February, right? So it's dividing it evenly.
Mhm.
Our booking rate, we're hovering right in the mid 30s. Good spot to be for estimates last week. So where this $95 an hour came from, let's look into that. So Blue got 110, and they're doing, what sort of work were they doing? Do you know?
Projects.
Projects, yep. So they got about, and we're only charging like a 105 for those, right?
It varies between 110. We're charging minimum 110 now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, 127 must be for the less than 5 hours.
It's between 110 and 125 per hour.
Yeah.
That they're
Okay.
working.
Yeah, so great rate on the projects. It's obviously going to bring us up. Damn, Green Mowing Crew dropped quite a bit last week. I think. Let's see. So Green Crew. Yeah, what happened to them? Something happened.
Randy's got a new guy. He's somewhat
Yeah.
green,
Yep.
so that'll
So yeah, that costs money, right?
sure does.
So we need to address that in Randy's budget because he shouldn't be penalized because he's training. That's why I'm suggesting having like some sort of seating budget.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like they had to go back and fix something, which took them 3 hours.
Yep.
We got pulled over for inspection. Did we pass?
We did.
Oh wow, that's like a first. Great.
We had a few
So everything we
violations.
needed.
We had a few violations. I think Noah's going to look at it.
Oh, so we did. Okay, so we didn't pass.
Yeah, right over there. Far right. We didn't get a ticket. Put it that way.
Good.
But,
Well, that's great. The trailer inspection is a big one, so it must be inspected.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fire extinguisher or the wheel chocks, you have all that
Yeah, so
stuff.
hold on one sec. What's that, man? No, the QR code ones. Are they in that shelf there? Oh, right up there. I'm sorry. Second shelf. Yep.
I'm
Cool,
still
man.
going to do the trainings this morning, or should
We're kind of short on time now. Yeah, we'll get to it, man. But Justin said you went by his house last week and you knocked, but you didn't leave anything on the door. So we just want to see you leave these on every door.
All right.
All right?
Awesome.
Thanks, man. Enjoy Howard Garsh. Thanks, Jack.
Yeah, why wouldn't he leave them, right? It takes 2 seconds and he gets the bonus for it.
Well, he didn't have any.
Oh, well, I mean, just saying, you might as well take some with him, and he's gonna bother knocking on the door.
Yeah, he's not going to come grab him. Going to tell him to grab him.
Yeah, aren't they on the morning checklist? Maybe not.
Those are not on the morning checklist now.
Okay, should be though. Take a note of that. Checklist. Door hangers.
Hey, Noah, here are the violations. Just sending this to you in case we haven't had anything. Everything addressed. Sorry, sending over the violations.
All right, yeah. So what were the violations?
They were emergency equipment, fire extinguisher unsecure, so it wasn't secured.
Okay.
Lighting, clearance lamps inoperative. Front passenger side clearance lamp inoperative. Lighting, identification lamps inoperative. 3 front ID lamps inoperative. Lighting, identification lamps inoperative. 2 left rear ID lamps inoperative. Lighting, tail lamp, any inoperative. Rear driver's side tail lamp inoperative. Lighting, side marker lamps inoperative. Driver's rear side marker lamp inoperative. There's no lighting.
So, yeah, so they're supposed to be checking their lights, right?
I think these lights are. I mean, a couple of them were license plate tail lamps, I think, but the ones he's talking about are like on top of the cab.
Okay, yeah. So that'd be like the quarterly truck inspection for Noah.
Right.
And look, they do have door hangers here.
Yeah, those are probably referring to marketing, but they're all door hangers. Yeah, sure, they should have them.
Yeah, it's not specified though, so can't really hold that against them, right?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull up inventory because I think I did specify in there that I think it says right on the checklist, but I just wanted to verify that it should be tied down.
Mm-hmm.
Fire extinguisher must be mounted to the floor. I mean, that's pretty clear, right?
Yep.
So I already did that. So just always making sure we have, someone wasn't doing what they're supposed to be doing, or we didn't tell them to do it. So clearly it's there.
Mm-hmm.
Preventable things, right? Couldn't find the dethatcher and ride-on aerator. I couldn't fit them. Okay, so storage issues. Went back to the job. Blah blah blah. Okay, and then here's a complaint, and then transfer gas cans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that's about. Anyway, yeah. So clearly, like training, and I said it a bunch of times, and sometimes it's unpreventable. But a new guy, he's costing us money every week, $20 an hour, less than average times 76 hours. So, that's quite a bit of money, right? That's our cost for training this guy.
Mm-hmm.
$1,500 a week, so that's why I suggested, when possible, we're sticking the new guy just pushing wheelbarrows instead of training him to have him leave in a week or two, because it's costing us $1,500 a week having him drag Slow Randy down.
It's going to be even worse if we throw somebody on projects. Jordan's already bitching about this kid Isaiah. He's going to tell him what to do all the time. If we stick a new guy on projects, we'll never get shit done. They're going to go over budget on all the projects. Best place to stick a new guy is on mowing, man.
All right, I'm just saying. Well, then we got to vet them well, because I'm just saying they cost us $1,500 a week to train. It's a major investment, right? So just something to consider.
I wouldn't throw a new guy on projects, man. That's a bad idea.
Well, I just meant, like, if you're doing like a mulch job, it seems pretty easy just to push a wheelbarrow.
It's a bit more than that. It's edging, weeding.
Yeah, I just thought he could be productive more quickly than he would be. String trimming is like pretty skilled. So you're putting like anything that's like the least amount of training to stick him on is the best place to put him, because then he's immediately productive and not costing us money. And then if he doesn't work out, we didn't lose as much on him, or we make money.
Hey, Justin, 1 sec.
Yep.
What's up, dude? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Cool. Want to chat later?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, cool. I'll be here.
All right.
We'll talk then. Thanks, Jordan.
All right, so Maroon Crew hit 85. And I think that's good for them. Yeah, they picked it up quite a bit. Any thoughts on that?
On who? Maroon?
Yeah. They actually, so Randy's crew went down.
Right.
Maroon Crew went up.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on why they might have gone faster? Did you change anything?
No, I think Josh and Neki are just working in tandem really well.
Good. Great.
Yep.
Fertilizing, 160.
Mm-hmm.
Great. And there's probably some fert in there we purchased last week that's not included in the expenses here.
Mm-hmm.
That's solid. Cleanup, they're doing cleanups. They got 107. So we got some really good rates in here. And then recurring gardening, he must have been doing something else too.
Kevin was doing gardening. Let's look at dispatch. I think he did a couple of cleanups too.
They must have. I mean, I'm more concerned about looking at it when they do badly.
Mm-hmm.
And he did well, so I'm not going to dig into it.
Cool.
But he must have done some other work there. Wouldn't hit that with just hourly gardening.
Right.
So yeah, we're doing something right, man, because we're getting some good weeks in here, good margins. Our charge rates are much higher than they were last year. So something's different,
Yeah.
and it's a good way. Oh shit, it's time to do the end of month stuff too, because it's May 2nd. Should we this week? There's only 4 days, so I guess we should throw that. There's 7 days in a week. There's only 4 days left in April. I guess it makes sense to throw it on next week. Plus, we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Doing the monthly stuff, because 4 days in the month would have fallen in this week that we're having now. So let's do it next week. Here, finally, we got some budget numbers in here. So and you can forward it to Noah. Sean's now. At first, I had it dispatched for Ant to print up the budgets for Noah for the garage, but I think it
Hold
makes
on,
more
man.
sense.
1 sec.
So yeah, at first I had it for Ant to print up the budgets for Noah in the garage, but I think it makes more sense for Sean to do it. So Sean's going to send over these numbers. So shop parts, and this budget's based on how the expenses fell last year, the same percentages, but this
Mhm.
year's budget. So January is about the same, but he spent a lot more in February and March. But I'm not sure we had a mechanic last winter in February. Did we in February and March? Was what's his face working? Was
Aiden. Yeah, we had Aiden. Yep.
We did.
Yep.
It looks like he spent far less in February and March, but this is our annual budget. So we've used about halfway through, and this is just kind of a rough guide based on how he spent last year.
Mhm.
But something for Noah to definitely keep tabs on. Like he's way ahead on the budget and how he spent last year. So if we were to keep in that trajectory, obviously we go way over. But maybe he was just what I did was what I was going to say is that like last year, there was a huge section of broken equipment stacked full, and this year the fixed equipment stacked full, right?
Mhm.
So Noah's obviously far outperforming Aiden and way more on top of stuff.
Oh, certainly. Yep.
It's amazing. Everything's working. It's crazy. He's awesome. Mechanic wages here. This is a straight salary across the board, but Arish has been breaking out his wages in garage versus. Well, first of all, I don't think he was full time this winter, was he? Noah.
This winter, no, he wasn't working full time. No.
It wasn't working full time. Then on top of that, we plan on full time wages in the garage, but Arish is breaking out his pay when he's in the field, so it's going to bring down our garage costs. So we're behind budget here, over budget here, right? So that's okay. Outside repairs, this is based on last year too, but I would put like 0 weight on this because we don't know when we're going to need to send stuff out, right? We don't know when transmissions are going to go, major repairs we have to send out. But even so, like we're far behind on here too. So beating budget on repairs.
Right.
Small equipment, this is spread out evenly throughout the year. I think we got the trimmers a little ahead of time. We got them, but not exactly as I asked. But just before mowing, we had everything we needed. So we spent all this money not throughout the season, but we spent it all at once and got all the equipment for the year. So obviously over budget here. We pretty much, just something to be aware of, we've pretty much exhausted our budget for small equipment this year, what we planned on. So we got another $1,000 that leaves us like 1 or 2 more things we can buy if we want to stick to our budget. So that's something to be aware of. Bonus pay, we're also under budget on that. So clearly, so $2,000. We're only through March, but we're under budget on that, so that's great. So I mean, everything here is looking great, right? Like we're ahead on all of our revenue and margins and charge rates, and we're behind on our expenses. So that's great. Marketing, I was concerned about this. I don't know if we had AdWords on yet in March. So, but clearly we're behind budget on marketing as well, which is when we went over on last year. Office supplies about on, but a little over maybe, about the same. Office payroll, we're behind, but also remember that 855 is in debt to RBS, so we haven't paid some of these expenses we haven't incurred, so I'd expect these to be higher once we pay the RBS bills because these are based on when we actually incur the costs. Debt wise, we could fill this out. So look at this. So here's the checking balance. The money I fronted this spring.
Right.
This is our RBS bill that we have not paid, and that's what I was just talking about why I transitioned over here. So your RBS 12,600. This is all money 855 is borrowing. Credit card balance $4,000. Sorry, this is my RBS back pay because I also run payroll for myself, and so that's debt that I'm owed from RBS. And then invoice balance. So we've almost paid off the invoice. Job deposits balance. The checking account, that's debt because we're borrowing that from customers. The RBS credit card balance is down, and the RBS checking account balance. So this is what I'm talking about when I sent an email. I mean, that's $30,000 we just knocked off from last week. So that's fantastic. Watching that go down. So basically, I think we're basically able to pay off our RBS and our 855 creddet card. So it's what I'm saying. When you get these good weeks, it makes a world of a difference. Just like one good week, you can take a huge chunk of money off. So I'll probably, like, once we catch up on the credit cards, I'll probably start earning some of my back pay, and then pay back my loan, and then we're on the positive, essentially. So let's see. Turn on AdWords, engagement phone number. All right. So, let's jump into the truck. We need to go through this. I guess we can run through this. So, payroll last week, 12 grand plus a couple bonuses, reimbursements. RES payroll, contractor payments, and then the big thing last week we got the first of the month payments, which are huge. So even though we did 30 grand a week, we only got 20 grand of payments, and the reason why is because of our prepayments, unbilled work. That's where we get 20 grand of deposits. Now we're just breaking that down. So the deposits that we already received, we didn't get paid for, even though we produced the work, because we already had the deposits. Contract clients who did work for, we don't get paid because we pay on the first of the month. The discounts that aren't included. And then, package client work and check payers that prepaid. So that's why we did 30 grand of work and we got 21 grand deposits, right? So we're the 9 grand, where we're 9 grand. All right, so truck stuff. So I'd already talked to Noah about it. We've been emailing. So for the FERT crew, Noah wanted to buy the trailer. And I was like, well, we have to buy a truck, right? We're already talking about buying a truck. We're looking at pickups. But I think ideally a box truck, we could eliminate the storage shed. The guys could leave all their stuff in the trucks. They don't need to load the truck each week. We don't have to tow behind a trailer. We don't have to register a trailer. We have less tires, less maintenance. I think a big billboard on it, if we want. I think that would be great for the FERT crew, right? If we have we need some sort of ramp or a lift on it. So you're saying so you're in agreement on the box truck, but you're just like, well, what do we do with the truck? What do we do with the truck the FERT crew is using now? Is that the question?
Well, I think that truck's great for FERT, but it has its downfalls, right? He has to unload it every day. It's probably this would be more ideal. I just feel like that truck was good for FERT, but we could probably use that truck for mowing. I don't know what else we would use it for.
Yeah, and like that truck, it's a 250. We're talking about 2018 F250. Plus, it's there's a 4-door, meaning that we could bring more people, if need be, like a bigger crew. But we can throw. I mean, if we're going to use it for mowing, we don't have to right away. But it would make sense to put a dump body insert inside there, so then you can dump the grass out instead of scraping it out every week. Or a gardening truck, because anything that you don't have a lot of debris in, because it doesn't have a dump in it. It's just a truck, but it can tow. So it could be used for a mowing crew or for a gardening crew.
We can't use it for gardening now because the truck Kevin's using has a busted hitch and the rear end's busted up. So it's just going to sit there if we don't have him use it for gardening right now.
Yeah, so if we got that hitch fixed, then that truck could be used for a mow truck with a dump body in it, and Kevin could be using just a pickup for gardening, right?
We just got the hitch fixed, man, and then somebody damaged it again.
I know. But I mean, he's driving a 80,000. What's that?
We're gonna get it fixed twice in the same season for $6,000.
I mean, we got to fix it eventually if we're going to use it for anything but just driving around.
I really don't want to fix it this year, man.
Well, we don't have to do it right now, but it would be, I mean, if you think about it too, we're going to be spending, if we do use the pickup for a mow truck, they're going to have to be scraping the grass out of there each week instead of just dumping the truck. So that's going to cost us money every time they dump, which is going to add up quickly. But I think ideally, I mean, if the hitch was fixed, also, like, Kevin does not need to be driving around this huge gas guzzler that, $80,000 Isuzu dump truck to be picking weeds from someone's garden by himself. It's just not a good use of resources. But it doesn't need to be addressed right away. But we could in the meantime, before we get the hitch fixed, we could just let Kevin drive that, use the other truck for a mow truck, right? And then they can put their grass in green barrels or what have you and just dump it out. Right. But I think down the road, as a more permanent solution, it would make sense to use the big gas guzzling truck. And also that means during cleanup season, we can use that truck, put a box on it, right? And tow a trailer with it. Right. But the regular pickup we can't use for that. So, all right. But anyway, we can figure out that detail later. But in the meantime, we should be shopping for a box truck, right? Okay. All right. And these were just ones we were looking at. We're looking at ones that I told Noah, like somewhere under 15. I don't want to buy anything that's, I mean, to not get garbage, essentially, we need to be spending like over 10. There's no point in buying a truck that's going to break tomorrow, especially if it's going to be like a primary used truck. Like still going to be a high mileage. Like this is what it costs. You know, this is what you're spending for a 10-year-old box truck with 140,000 miles on it. You know what I mean? So anything less than that, you're going to be getting junk. So we really can't spend less than that. I told Noah, we want something that's going to last at least 5 years. Otherwise, it's just no point in buying it. You know, we have to go through the research, picking it up. You know, if we're going to decal it or anything, et cetera, et cetera. We don't want to buy something that's just going to be around for 1 year and then have to go shopping and buy another one, you know, and all the downtime resulting
Right.
from that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So to address the phone call stuff. So let me just present to you what I have here, then we can talk about how to move forward. So one thing is this. So we got all these text messages going out are going to your direct number, right? Any questions, go to 889 to your desk phone to all the estimates we're sending out. So that's something we might want to change. Right here, on all your estimates you're sending out, you also have your phone number here. And then on the proposal, you had your cell phone number, which I changed over to this number. But these are ways that people could be connecting to you directly. So so then I went through more items here, but I went through your call log for like a week prior. And your Calendly links are all over the proposals. So these are like things we might want to change. Like maybe we want to have different maybe we want Ant to have a Calendly link. Maybe we want Reach to have a Calendly link, depending on where we want these calls to go. But your Calendly links are everywhere. So all the calls we're directing all the calls to you, and that's why you're getting all the calls, right? So we just have to decide if we want to direct them elsewhere. And then these are places we have to change them that we just talked about. All right. This person called. They left a voicemail. You guys did a quote. Okay, so we called her. She called us back, but it's about biweekly mowing. So this might not be something that you need to be fielding calls on, right?
Right.
This call here, voicemail. They were calling about new sod, and there was a follow-up text sent with your phone number on it that I just showed you. So right here it says, if you need further assistance, please call 889. So that's why this guy called you. And then this is when I started going through your call log. So on 4/29, we get a call. Pest control, mosquito. It was a texted new lead. There was no information. I couldn't see the responses. This is the text he sent. No, nice pick. What text? But this guy like texted in essentially. So that was about pest control, mosquito control. This call here. Crabgrass, why switching to lime? Are you coming tomorrow for sure? So it's kind of scheduling. Questions on scope of work. It was 28 Pinewood was who called. This is about like supervising. This call here, this was a Calendly call. Can't avoid that one, right? Like he must have missed him. He wasn't sure who's calling who, so that one's kind of irrelevant because we asked him to call. Didn't get back to me, no estimate. But this person was tagged a time waster. So I don't know if we discussed this one either. It was a one-time mow quote. She called you about mowing. This guy called. That's kind of irrelevant, right? Because you called him, so of course he's going to call you back, right? Roger Fazio. I don't know. I guess I didn't take notes on why he called. This person, 85 pound the court, treatment for the front yard. Whole yard was done. So this is like a service concern, right? I don't want my backyard done. That's service concern. And I have this random note here. Just triggered my thought. Also on when he did my lawn, I was just noticing that I don't like the seed distribution seemed uneven to me. I didn't know if I couldn't really see any seed in the front yard. Some was like super heavy. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but just throwing that out there because I just prompted me when I saw this note here. Here we have got a text saying lime and moss control this week. So again, this is like scheduling. They're confused about their services when we're coming. This person trouble signed the proposal. That doesn't need to go to you. Clean up mulch install. time cap what we call, this is questions on the estimate.
Mm-hmm.
Ant came to look at poison ivy, so that seems like that should go to Ant. Failed charges, you can charge my card now, that shouldn't go to you. This is service concern about weeding. All right, so this is our current call menu here, right? So press 1 if you're a prospective client, you want a quote. Press 2 if you're an existing client, need help accepting a quote, doing a credit card and file, or scheduling work. That's what's go to a Reach office.
Mm-hmm.
Press 3, these all go to you. Questions regarding a quote you received out of service concerns. Press 4 to go to our garage. So I threw this out here. So we could break it down this way, right? So right now, press 1 for a new quote that goes to the AI answering. Press 2 if you're an existing client. So if they're an existing client, they go to a sub menu that now says press 1 to update your credit card and file, which we could send to answer rate if we want to set that up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Existing clients, press 2 for help accepting a quote. So that would eliminate some of these people like I can't sign on the line, right?
Right.
Press 3 to schedule the work. And then the main menu, so that'd be existing 2. Like, excuse me, extension 2, breaking down extension 2 would go to those. Would have that sub menu.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'd have press 3 if you have a question about a quote or service concern. So option 3, then they go to the sub menu. Press 1 if your questions about lawn mowing, fertilizing, cleanups, and maybe they go to Reach or Ant because, like, again, I don't think you need to be fielding calls on biweekly mowing or like the gardening maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But any of this or cleanups, like that's stuff that you shouldn't need to necessarily field calls on. Press 2 if your questions about a custom project quote. So like this is stuff you do need to take the calls on, right? If you sent the quote on a specific project, you do need to receive those calls.
Mm-hmm. Certainly.
Or press 3 if you have a service concern. So I don't know if we should eliminate that. And just have option 1, which is this one if you have a question about lawn mowing, fertilizing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's pretty much, sorry, I was kind of sloppy going through that, but what are your thoughts on all that?
I think we need to remove my number as much as we can. You're right on that.
Okay.
And
so perhaps
yeah,
the action plan. So 889 number changed to the 855 number, right? On all the text messages?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. What are your other thoughts? So if Calendly links, should we have, in order to send different Calendly links, we'd have to like set up a different automation. We'd have to send different estimate documents. Like we'd have one for Ant, one for you, which isn't hard to do. We just copy the other one and put on Ant's phone number and Calendly link, right? So if Ant sends a quote, the call should go back to him, not back to you, right?
For what?
For example, that person that said they never got a quote from Ant.
What would we use his link for?
Same thing yours is used for. So like, I'm suggesting like those custom projects, that stuff should all circle back to you. It's coming from you. It's going to come back to you, right? Like if you send a quote on some custom garden installation, certain plants, and you build that relationship with the customer, like we can't really send those to Rige or to Ant, but they're going to go back to you. So those should go to you.
Exactly.
But questions on any sort of thing that's a very clear scope of work, like a recurring services, like the lawn mowing, gardening, fertilizing, all that stuff could go to Ant, right? Like service concerns, questions on all those services, those don't need to be going to you.
Complaints, man. I'm trying to get rid of complaints.
What's that, complaints? Yeah, so that's what I was suggesting, like these service concerns don't need to be going to you, right? So it's kind of just doing an analysis of like what the calls are and the ones that should go elsewhere and how we can handle those.
Right.
So we could put the Calendly link. So if Ant had a Calendly link,
he has one.
He does. Okay. So we could create a separate. Is Ant currently sending proposals?
He's not. No.
Okay. Well, maybe he should. I mean, is he doing quotes and you're writing them up? Is that how that's working?
He's running the estimates and he's sending me details. I'd have to train him on that. I'm not there yet, man. All sorts of shit will get fucked up if he starts writing estimates.
So if that's the case, if you're sending the quotes, would Ant be able to answer those, or you still have to answer those?
he will not be able to answer those. I mean, he
Okay.
runs the estimate. He's I don't know. I don't know if he's capable of that right now, man.
All right, let's do it this way. These calls that we got, which one of these could someone else help with? Like, which one of these do you not want to receive? Let's do it that way.
Anything related to sales, I want. So questions on quotes, that's all me. And can get service concerns. He can get Well, scheduling we know can go to a reach, right? Let's start with the
Yeah.
reach. Scheduling,
Okay.
mowing questions, billing, credit card.
Yeah.
That's all I
Scheduling
read.
work, questions, all this stuff, existing client stuff, right?
And then anything involving production will go to Ant. Anything involving quotes should come to me.
Okay, so right now it's set up that it says press 3 for questions regarding quote received or service concerns. So right now those are directed all to you. So we need to break that out, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so service concerns would all go to Ant. So maybe we just make just that change. And then we take your number off the text messages and put the main number, because that way they're going to be redirected and they're going to have to go through the menu to say they want to have a service concern. So what happens, I guess you can just forward to them, right? Like if you send a quote, comes from your email address.
Right.
Unless the quote came from Arija's email address, then when people have questions, they'd come to her, but primarily those would be questions for you. But if instead of going directly to you, they go to Arij and Arij sends that email to whoever needs to respond to it, then you wouldn't get like, because they're probably going to respond to your quote email with like, oh, I can't sign it. Oh, like I have questions on it, which you do want to receive. Oh, when can this get done? Like all questions like that, they're all going to go to you right now, and then you're now left dispatching, dealing with it, or sending someone else to do it. So if all the quotes came directly from service at RI Lawn Care, then all the responses would go to Arij, and then Arij would be in that position instead of you, and she would be then dispatching those to whoever needs to handle them, right?
She'll just be forwarding me emails. So it doesn't make much sense for them to go to the office for her to just forward them to me.
Yeah, because most of them would be questions on the proposal, but I'm talking about like some people must respond to those, be like, when can it get done? Like things that apply to her too, right?
She just forwards me emails, man. She anything involving a quote, she's just going to send to me.
Okay, but that's going to leave you redispatching, like reassigning that. So if it's about a quote, but it's about like when can you do this, then she should be able to handle that, right?
She doesn't know when a project's going to take place. She's going to ask me. She's going to forward me the email, and it's going to end up in my inbox.
Okay.
Why not just avoid it and send it?
Are you getting any emails on quotes that what types of emails are you getting that you shouldn't be getting? And because that's how they're getting your email address. You're sending the quote from that email address, so they're all going to come back to you. Everything's going to come back to you, including stuff you don't want. And that's how you want to leave it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And then the follow-up emails come from service at RI Lawn Care, and anything involving a quote, she just sends over to me.
Okay. So we're going to leave it that way. The quotes will still come from you. So you're still going to get some minutia in there. You're going to get like, oh, I'm having trouble signing this quote, right? That's going to come back to you instead of going to Arij. But that's probably, I'm guessing like 85% of the questions and the quotes should go to you. Another 15% should go to Arij, right?
Yeah, I think stuff like I can't sign the proposal. I'm not clear on this.
You'll handle. So if you were to send a quote and someone's like, I'm having trouble signing, then that 15% of the questions that come from those quotes, you would just forward to Arij and get her to help them sign it, right?
Yeah, I forward her emails all the time.
All right. So rather than her sending you 85% of the emails she gets, you're going to send her the 15% of the emails you get.
Okay.
All right. So, let's try making those changes. So the 88 number. So what is Ant using his Calendly link for then? Because we don't have it anywhere.
Nothing yet. So Melissa set it up for him. He hasn't used it. I know he's not going to dive in on it on his own unless I prompt him to use it. So I'm not even sure what his link is. I have to get in there and look at it, and then we can talk about setting it up. Okay.
So in the meantime, we'll just leave this phone calls for service concerns, and those are going to go to Ant. All right. So I'm wondering if any of these shouldn't go to you. So these are service concerns, right? So those will go to Ant, right?
Right.
You know what we could do too is make it clear, so Ant's essentially acting as like the account manager, right? So like you're just a sales guy. The problem is you're getting all this stuff on top of that. We can make it clear like who the contact is, right? Like just like we do with the guys, like call me for this, call Ant for this, call
Right.
Reach for this. We have that broken up very clearly. Perhaps we should, in our welcome email, we could make that clear that, like, if you have service concerns, is who you call, because this is built in everywhere. That we need to get like drilled to our customers that this is who you call for different issues. That way, they're not just calling you for everything, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, let me make some of these small changes, and trying to this was specifically about phone calls as your concern, but I'm sure you're also getting emails with the same misdirected calls. So, communication. So we can work on that too, but let's just slowly work at it, and then we can readdress again when if we make some changes and you're saying, well, I'm getting calls about this now, then we can like address that. Does that make sense?
It does. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll work on this then.
Cool.
That's all I had to talk about today.
Okay. I think that's a good start, man, as far as reducing clutter in my
Yeah,
inbox.
good start, right? Yeah, I mean, you ask for people to call you, guess what? They're going to call you, right? Every time you're telling them to call you, and then you're complaining that you're getting too many calls. I mean, we're telling them to call you.
Well, if it were up to me, I wouldn't send out nearly as many notifications as we do.
Regarding
everything, man. It's just everything. There's just too much going out.
Did we cut those way down?
We eliminated some last year. What's that? And we
took out
eliminated
the monthly client check-ins, like, hey, how are we doing with the lawn mowing? We cut out all those texts and emails.
We did, but there's still a shit ton of stuff going out, man.
It's mostly marketing and upsells, though, isn't it?
A lot of it's upsells, sure.
But we do want to be doing that because we're getting their attention, they're responding.
Yeah, we want to do that. The point is this, man. We're very communicative. Clients know that. Most landscapers aren't. People love the text message. We send tons of text messages, and it just we're creating this.
Yeah,
we can't take it away because then we're going to lose sales. We're going to it's going to create other issues.
The same token, like that adds value, like so it justifies our higher charge rates. If Joe Schmo is if we just ignore people just like Joe Schmo, then Joe Schmo landscaping, then we can only charge what Joe Schmo charges. But
that's right.
These clients, we have a good relationship. They know we communicate well. We're easy to get in touch with, and that adds value to the client because they know if they ask for a quote, they're not going to have to follow up and be like, "Hey, I never got it," or or if they need to make special plans because they have a birthday party and we can accommodate them. Then that adds value, and that's what helps us get these higher rates because these customers already understand, like our existing client base, like they understand that value.
Yeah,
and they're probably going to switch to Joe Schmo because they can't get in touch with Joe Schmo. All right, well, I'll work on this, and I'll let you know, keep you in the loop, and just keep going back and forth and make sure that things are getting better.
Yeah, we'll dial it in, man.
Yep.
Cool.
All right, sounds like a plan.
Great, thanks.
Yep, catch you soon.
Okay, bye.